Hello everyone, welcome to our learning series of how to use Unreal Engine for architectural visualization. Another request that we have received is how to create a 3D widget into your scene. So far all of our widget that we have created have been displayed on the player screen. For the 3D widget, this is where you want to place different types of widgets inside your scene, so the viewer of this presentation, for example, can interact and perform the function of that widget. For our example here, we have created a simple 3D widget where the player can move toward, for example, this sofa and see a small widget where you can display different types of sofa and even also rotate these sofas so they can inspect it before they replace it into the scene. Now in this first part we will be creating only the widget, and in our next video we will show how to replace the sofas. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we need to have is our different types of the sofa, or the outdoor sofa as we have created here. And for example, for these sofas, I have imported them or downloaded them from a website called Minotti, and this is basically a company where they publish the 3D model of their furniture. So this is very useful in terms if you want to choose which type of piece of furniture you want to put inside your model and refer it to the original manufacturer, so it can help, for example, the client to choose if this is something that is suitable for his project. So I will put also the website in the description below. So I have imported 3 different types of outdoor sofa, and I've also created the widget the same way we have learned how to create them in our widget series. And also this one is the widget switcher that we have also learned in our previous video, and I will also put the link for that video, so it can be easy for you to reach if you have missed that video. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is create Reactor, and we're gonna call this Sofa 1. Sorry. So inside this actor I'm gonna add a scene, clean scene without anything, drag it here and add 2D scene capture component, and this is where the camera is gonna capture the sofa so it can be displayed as 3D inside the widget. Next we're gonna create a static mesh, and we're gonna call this Sofa 1, and inside the static mesh panel here we're gonna choose Sofa 1, and immediately we're gonna see it. So make sure that they are not attached together, so in case you want to change the location of the camera, you will not move the sofa with it. Also we can add a light, so it can do a custom light for the sofa inside the widget. So I'm gonna put, like, for example, point light, and then let's make sure that the sofa lighting channel had been set to 1, because 0 is what we have inside our scene. So if you put it to 0 inside the widget, you'll see the sofa is lighting by the sun as in the scene. So also for the point light I'm gonna put it to 1, and let's just move it on top of the sofa and search for a suitable intensity value. Let's say, for example, 300 something, put it somewhere here. And then for the camera I'm gonna position it like parallel to the sofa, and in the scene capture we're gonna create our render target. So I'm gonna put it inside the 3D widget and call this Sofa 1 underscore RT, refer to render target. Okay, so currently if you look at that render target that have been created, we'll see that the resolution is a little bit off on the edges, so I'm gonna increase this to 1024 so it can give us a better look of our sofa. So if you have seen, we need to bring this camera up a little bit. Sometimes it lags the preview a little bit, so if you move the mouse you'll see immediately how the result will come. Okay, let's compile this and then head to the next step where we're gonna create our sofa widget. So this is basically just an image that we're gonna replace later on with our render target, but before that we have to create a material from the render target so it can be applied inside the widget. So I'm gonna right click and create a material, and let's keep it as a sofa 1 render target material. And then inside the material we need to prepare this to be suitable inside the widget. So I'm gonna put it to translucent so we can ignore the black by also adding -1, so the alpha can subtract the black color. And let's put the RGB inside our missive. Let's compile. And let's head to the widget. I'm going to choose our sofa 1 render target material, and it will show an error that this material need to be changed to a user interface material. So we're going to hit that, and immediately we're going to see our widget, the sofa appear inside our widget. So let's compile this. We'll see an error that we need to create the nodes for that. So let's start by creating our blueprints then for the sofa blueprint and the widget. So for the sofa blueprint, we're gonna go to the event graph, and we're gonna create 3 custom events that are gonna help us to rotate that sofa inside the widget. So I'm gonna right click and custom, and let's call this let's say, for example, start rotate, and let's duplicate it into another one and rotate. And also for the last one, let's put a mouse move. Okay, for the start rotate, we're gonna add an input, and we need this to be as a vector 2D. And for the last one also the same, and that's it. So we need to create also 2 variables. We're gonna call this can rotate, so this is as a condition, and another variable which is gonna call it the start rotate location, and we're gonna make this as a vector 2D. So let's compile this, and we can see that the can rotate option is not ticked off, so this is very important. So I'm gonna drag both of these variables and drag them as a set so we can connect them together. So the start location, so we're gonna connect the start rotate, this one, and because this is a start rotate, so we need to tick the condition. And for this one, we're gonna bring and rotate, and we're gonna leave it as it is. And from this one, the mouse move, we're gonna get a branch, so we're gonna bring also the can rotate variable inside here. So if it is true, we're gonna need also to add world rotation. Okay, so it already brought the sofa static mesh reference, and instead of dragging this, and this is something cool about the updates in Unreal Engine. So from the mouse move, we're gonna need to rename this so it can be actually more practical. So let's call this, for example, mouse location, and for this also mouse location. And from this, we're gonna need to get the mouse location, so we're gonna subtract the vector 2D, and we're gonna drag the start rotate location. And from this, we're gonna break the vector so we can get the location. We're gonna need only the X rotation, because we're using actually the yaw movements, not the rule or direction. So we're gonna multiply this also, and let's keep the value by -1 so it can move from right to left, and make rotator, connect this to the Z, and then to the delta rotation. Last thing we're gonna do is we need to drag also the set rotation, start rotation, and connect it here, connect the target to our also mouse location. And that's it for the sofa blueprint nodes. And now we're gonna move to the graph. Okay, inside our event graph, we're gonna create an event construct. Sorry about that. Okay, and we want to cast this to our character player inside our scene, where this player is actually the one that's gonna be able to rotate the sofa inside that widget. So we need to make sure that the name is arcviz character, so cast to arcviz character, and then we're gonna get the player character, and we need to spawn this sofa into the space, so we don't want to see actually the background that is being displayed. And to do that, we're gonna use a spawn actor. Okay, spawn actor from class, and we're gonna choose our sofa 1, and then we're gonna spawn this sofa by making transform, and the location of the X is basically what we need to put. So we're gonna put this into a very high value because we don't want to see anything behind the sofa displayed inside the widget. So I'm gonna put like 6 zeros as 1 million. It's a very high number, but this is to make sure that nothing will appear behind it. And then we're gonna create a variable from this node, and let's call this sofa option 01. Alright, so this is for this part. Now we need to set up how the movements will appear inside our widget. So as we have created 3 custom events inside our blueprints, we need also to create 3 different functions inside the widget. So we can choose from here, sorry about that, we can choose from here, for example, on mouse button down, and also, I need to delete this, and also on mouse button up, and on mouse move. Okay, for the first one, the mouse button down, we're gonna create the first node, which is the first one we have created, start rotate. So we're gonna call that node start rotate, and we need to get actually the sofa object reference to put it as the target for this rotation. So for the mouse location, we're gonna create the location of the player. So I'm gonna get the player controller, and then get mouse position scaled by dBi, and then make a vector. We can drag it actually from here, make a vector 2D, and connect the X and Y together. So this is the first one. For the we need to connect also the return variable to handled, so we want to handle this rotation, and compile. So we're getting a warning because we didn't actually finish the other blueprints or the nodes for these blueprints. So for the mouse button up, we gonna just create our next custom event, which is end rotate, example end rotate, and then we're gonna need only the sofa object reference, and this also we want it to be handled. Okay, let's go for the mouse movements. Okay, for the mouse movements, we need also the custom event, which is mouse move, and then we need to drag our sofa option. And for the location, we need the same thing we have done for the mouse down, so we're just gonna copy this and bring it here, connect it to the mouse location. And for this one, we needed to put it as unhandled because we don't want the rotation to be activated while the mouse is moving. So now that we have compiled, we have finished our widget nodes. Now let's get start testing this and see how it's gonna go. So next we're gonna create the rest of the widget for the other sofa options. So I'm gonna pause the video and create the same thing I have done for the other two sofas. So we can come back after that and continue with the rest of the tutorial. Okay, so now that we have created our 3 widgets for the sofas and the main widget that we can attach it to this sofa to be displayed and the scene. If we open this, now we have our 3 different sofas and as a switcher inside the switcher. So one of the problems that you always face for the render target is that you'll always see some kind of like an error or maybe a bug, I'm not sure. So all what you need to do is just open the blueprints and just go to the viewport, head over to the camera, for example, and just if you move the mouse over to this one, you'll see that the render target have been adjusted. So we're hoping that this is something that's going to be adjusted, but as you can see, it's easy to fix. So again, it's the last one. So we have our 3 different sofas ready to be attached. So the way to do this, there are actually different ways to attach a widget into your scene so it can be a 3D widget. You can do this using an actor, but you will end up by choosing a screen display for the widget or an object. But the problem is, as a screen, it will keep scaling up as the more you're gonna move far away from the widget. So let's do it through this way. We're gonna attach it to the sofa. So I'm gonna convert the sofa to a blueprint class. So we're gonna call this sofa 3D widget, for example. Okay. So we're gonna need to add the widget to attach it to the sofa. And let's choose our widget, which have been named as main sofa widget. Main sofa widget. And it seems like we need to scale this down. So let's put it, for example, as 300 by 300. Or this is the problem actually, when you scale it down, it will start losing the content. So let's scale it manually, like that. Just adjust it to its preferred location. Let's say, for example, it's going to be displayed here on the side. So you can scale this up or keep it as it is. Okay. Few things just to keep in mind. Make sure that you choose 2-sided widget, and also we're gonna tick off the off screen. This is something that was advised by Unreal Engine, so in case you don't see the widget inside your scene, just a precaution. So I guess we're okay now to compile, and let's see if we can start the scene. Okay, last thing we need to do is to create a widget interaction inside our player controller, so the player can interact with the widget. So we have done the same thing before with the VR widget when we attached the widget interaction to the motion controller. So we're gonna change the color to something like blue and show debug, and for the interaction source, let's put it as a mouse instead of the line trace. And let's test this up and see. Okay, so if we move to the widget, you can see if we choose, nothing is happening. Let's just check if the widget interaction is enabled. Receive hardware input, this is very important to check, sorry about that. Compile, and let's try again. So if we move again to the widget, you can see that we can switch between the widget and also rotate these sofas. So the viewer of this presentation can be able to change the sofa. The only thing that is left is we need to adjust this widget to appear or to rotate as the player is moving around, and this can be done very easily by adding a few nodes and the blueprints of that widget. So we're just gonna need tick event and the widget, and we're gonna get the world location of that widget first. sorry, and we're gonna get also the player location. First we need to get the character and get actor location, and we need to connect this to a node called find look at rotation, sorry. So the start is going to be the widget and the target will be our player, and we need to get from the tick set world rotation. So this is our widget. We can actually delete this and connect our widget to this, and that's it. So now we can compile and try again, see if this is gonna work. So if you move to the widget, you can see that now start to rotate as the player rotate around the sofas. So this is the basic idea of how to set up a 3D widget using this method. Of course there can be another way of creating this. So in our next tutorial we're gonna show how we can achieve the function of the widget and how we can replace these sofas into our scene. So I hope this video was clear and not confusing for you all, and how to create this 3D widget. If you have any question, please share it down in the comments, and thank you very much. See you in the next video.